Yeah, what's going on? Welcome back. It is episode number 16 of the Leeds United Crewman. I've got this massive ulcer, right, on the bottom lip, and it's just constantly knocking against my braces every time I talk. So I can't wait to chat for 27 minutes whilst managing that pain. But yeah, if I do sound a little bit different today, you'll know the reason why. Anyway, heading into the first game of today's episode on the back of the loss to Burnley. No wins in our last two games. Amazing unbeaten run ended by the Clarets. 1 point for a possible 6 in the Premier League. And now we've got our first Champions League knockout round tie since we arrived at Ellen Road. It's Glasgow Rangers, the lads from Ibrox taking us on here, and I definitely felt, even on the back of back-to-back games without a win, we would be favourites for this one. Now, we all know how OP form is in FIFA CM, so I didn't think we'd brush Rangers aside, but I did still feel as though if we didn't win this first leg at Ellen Road, I would be a little bit worried. At Ibrox, I would be a little bit worried. So, heading into the game, we took the lead 17 minutes in. Benjamin Sesko with the opener, and then on the stroke of the hour mark. Oh, what a throwaway that is. You know, like sometimes I'll say this, like sometimes you'll concede a goal, you've got to hold your hands and say, fair enough, that's a belter, can't really do much about that. Sometimes you'd have to say, well, bad luck, can't really, compensate for that. But sometimes you just got to hold your hands and say, what on earth was I doing there? Like, why would I play that ball back in to the danger area? Like, it was such a silly thing to do under no pressure whatsoever. Had to take blame for that one there. Rangers back on their returns, only myself to blame. But with 4 minutes to go after I hit the woodwork, we were looking for a late winner. And we got it. Yep, Brendan Aronson goes through one-on-one, rounds the goalkeeper and flicks it home. To be fair, even though I did gift Rangers a goal, I was playing some good football, especially in the second half in this game, and I felt we were going to get the goal at some point to win this one and restore our lead, and we did. The American with the goal, Brendan Aronson with the finish, and we win the first leg by 2-1. Tie's not over, but it is a luxury heading back to Ellen Road, keep a clean sheet, and we are going through to the quarterfinals. Still, following game, back at Ellen Road and back to matters in the Premier League. Just 1 point from a possible 6. Now taking on Sean Dyche's Everton. Heading into this game, and yes, we stopped a rot with a win there against Rangers, but back in the league here, I was thinking our last two league games, 1 point from 6, a draw and a loss. I'm a little bit worried here, I'm going to be honest. Lucas Paqueta gives us the lead, but I still felt this was going to be a really tricky 3 points to see out. Well, we didn't even see out the first half. You have Enis Unal gave Everton their leveller, and everything just flipped as soon as that happened. You know, sometimes when like the AI just seems to like kick it up a gear. Do you know what I mean? Like just out of nowhere, just kick it up a gear. That was that moment. As soon as Enis Unal got that goal, I couldn't stop him. Moncoila made it 2-1. The Toffees were in front for the first time, 29 minutes in. And in the second half, I just felt like there was an extra yellow shirt out there. Like I wanted the referee to stop the game, so hang on a second. I think Everton have got an extra player out there because there was just always a free man. Like there was just always a free man. Moncoila was just constantly popping up unmarked, and he got his second goal on the stroke of the hour mark, and Everton were 3-1 up. I literally was just getting completely overrun in midfield, as my football manager, assistant manager would tell me. I just could not stop the free man being totally unmarked. Final score, Leeds 1, Everton 3. It's now 1 point from a possible 9 and back-to-back losses in the league. And for the following game, we travel to Villa Park, taking on Unai Emery's side, with Spurs now taking on a 6-point lead, thinking, if we don't win this game, I think our chance to win the title is all but gone. 17 minutes in, we're down by a goal. And I was feeling like Mikel Arteta out there. When Arsenal had their shaky form towards the end of the season. The 3-0 loss at home to Brighton, the 3-3 draw with Southampton, the draw with West Ham, the draw with Liverpool. Of course, the loss against Man City as well. But that shakiness from the lads in our Arsenal team, many of which going for their first Premier League title. Not all of them, but many of which going for that first Premier League title. Not able to handle the pressure. I felt like Mikel Arteta out there. We lost 2-0. Spurs 6 points clear and have a game in hand as well. We're still in the top 4. But like Mikel Arteta was saying, and like the Arsenal fans would have been saying, well, we only really wanted top 4 anyway. So, it's not a big deal. But in the back of our minds, we are all thinking, Oh, mate, we're choking this. We are choking this. 3 losses on the trot in the Premier League. 1 point from a possible 12 in our last 4. And Spurs now have the absolute chance to run away with this with the game in hand and the 6-point gap as well, with 12 games to go for them and 11 for us as well. We're absolutely blowing it. And again, doing my best Mikel Arteta impression, sitting there thinking, well, we were just going for the top 4 anyway, but also knowing what we had in our hands. We were top. We are now about to go 9 points behind. To make matters worse, on Wednesday night, we had our FA Cup last 16. And I said at the back end of the last episode, we're taking on one of the big boys. It was Manchester City. So we had a tired team out there on the back of the loss against Aston Villa, where I had to rotate a lot of my starters because they were just far too unfit to play. We're in horrendous form, the worst of the save, and now we've got to take on Manchester City. Good luck, Leeds United. Yeah, we got absolutely battered. Haaland scored the first. I think Foden got a brace. We certainly got the third one. 21 minutes to go. 3-0. Manchester City absolutely destroyed at Ellen Road. It's now 4 losses on the trot in all competitions and just 1 win in 6 in all competitions. Worst run of form of the save at the FA Cup. Premier League looks as though it's basically gone. And the Champions League, we've got a goal lead heading into the second leg against Rangers, but even that, with this current form, is not a cert for us to make it through to the quarterfinals. So for the following game, I thought, man, I just need a win. I just need a win. I need to see us pick up the 3 points for the first time after none in our last 5 in the Premier League. 1 point from a possible 15. I've absolutely bottled it. I've absolutely choked it. Like I always say this as well. Like I never sweep anything under the rug. With me, what you see is what you get. And if I've played badly, you see me play badly. I was horrendous. Horrendous in this run of form. Absolutely shocking. So the following game, Blades away. Nice little Yorkshire battle here at Bramwell Lane. I needed a win. Lucas Paquetá got his 16th for the year in the first half to give us that advantage. But even in a game like this, we were firm favourites. I was still really struggling. But in stoppage time, final chance of the game. Matt O'Reilly with the final kick of the game. Says Gaffer, don't worry, we're back to winning ways here. Yep, the former MK Dons, Celtic and Fulham Academy graduate gives us the banker, the second, and the 3 points we desperately needed, and that reaction said it all. Finally, I was feeling like Frank Lampard after that win against Bournemouth, knowing it's probably not going to mean much, but psychologically, it means a lot to me. But yeah, we get the win, 2-0. And finally, after 4 losses on the trot in the league, just awful run of form. 5 losses in 7 games in all competitions. Finally, with Leeds United, we have managed to get ourselves a much needed victory. The question is, can we now follow it on with the following game in midweek? Tuesday night, Glasgow Rangers. Second leg of the Champions League last 16. We won at Ibrox by 2-1. We scraped it late on through Brendan Arrington. We hosted the lads from Glasgow. We fell behind early. Fortunately, we cancelled that straight out directly afterwards. So quite a lot of rotated squad members out there, to be fair. But I still have my regular starters and my best players, I should say, in Benjamin Sesko and Lucas Paquetá. Who got the 2 goals in the 28 minutes to turn the game on its head? The 2 starters, of course. I did not mind resting a lot of my starters for this game, holding on to a 1-goal lead and being favourites, but I was not going to leave it to chance. Sesko and Paquetá, even though you would have seen their stamina pre-game, whilst it was pretty goddamn poor, let's be honest, I was not prepared to take chances. And in the first half, we fell behind, and then those 2, the team leaders, the best 2 players in this team, said, "We ain't going out here. We ain't gonna let it happen." And don't you just love it when like a player just grabs the game by the scruff of its neck? Don't you love it even more when 2 do it at the same time? Yeah, Sesko and Paquetá in this first half, after we went a goal down, they looked at each other, gave each other a slight nod, and said, "Yeah, let's just sort this out, shall we? Let's just sort this out. Let's just do this ourselves." Yet we were 4-1 up in the first half. Paquetá had all 4 goals, and in stoppage time, had 3 of the 4 goals, and in stoppage time, aiming to make it 5, would get his 5th as well. At this point, I was basically just playing for Lucas Paquetá. 4 goals in the half, 5-1 Leeds. Sesko had the other, and I called on my 2 stars to sort me out of the hole. And they definitely did. 5-1 up, and the game was done at that point. So, took them off for the break for a well-deserved rest. We were leading by 5. Weren't going to see this out. And whilst Quita did grab his second goal of the tie to make it 5-2 and get a consolation goal, it meant absolutely nothing in the end. I'm going to talk later on in the episode about situation-specific celebrations, but like, I don't even know why they're bothering at that point. Like, surely you just pick the ball up, right? Instead of doing a little team celebration. Surely you just pick the ball up, right? Because we're still up by 4 goals. And yeah, there's still time. But if there is still time, then they've got to pick the ball up. Not just go celebrate for no reason whatsoever. And in the end, a few minutes later, I said, well, it's over. It's over. Brendan Harrison says it's time, lads. It's time to call time. It is over. And after Lucas Paqueta's heroic 5-goal half. Sorry, I said Sesko got a goal in the first half there. He got one. Aronson got one. Paqueta got 5 and Aronson got the other one. We dominate the second leg and we make it through to the quarters. And in that quarter final, we've been drawn against Marseille. Man City versus Barca, Atletico versus Bayern, Real versus Dortmund, and we'll take on Marseille. Now, I'll be honest here, I've all the teams there with no disrespect whatsoever, but Marseille is the team I was hoping to face. To be fair, they've actually got a really solid team, and they're doing really well in Ligue 1 right now at this point in the save. I'll show you the table in just a moment's time, but you know, I'm going to be honest, they were the team I was hoping to face, and we've got the luck of the draw. We'll be taking them on in the quarterfinals. They or Dortmund, I would say, were the teams I wanted. In the end, we've got Marseille. So, following game, back-to-back wins for the first time in God knows how long. Now we take on Southampton at St Mary's. Yep, taking on the Saints, aiming to make it 3 straight wins and back-to-back wins in a league for about 6 or 7 weeks. Lord knows we needed it. Southampton away at St Mary's. Lucas Paqueta hit 5 against Rangers in the week and then scores here on the weekend on the South Coast. And then Mark Gay scores, I believe, his first goal of the season, heading in a corner, making it 2-0, and that would surely do it. Leeds are back. It's about bloody time. So leading by 2, and there was 7 minutes to go. Got a bit cockier, if I'm being honest. Dribbled out with Dean Henderson. Played a 1-2 with Somerville and Jorginho Rutter. Crescencio goes down the left, sweats it across, and Michael Elise clips the post to make it 3. Southampton 0, Leeds 3. We've put ourselves in a really big hole. We've given Spurs an absolutely massive lead. There's a huge gap between us and Spurs now in the race to the title. But we're not going to give up. As you can see, we've now got into 2nd place, but Arsenal do have the game in hand. They win that and they'll leapfrog us. Spurs are 3 points clear, but again, they've got the game in hand as well. So really, if they were to win, that's a 6-point gap, and it would kind of feel like a 7-point gap. Why is that, here you ask, Toxie Boy? It's because Spurs have a much better goals record than we do right now. So we're not going to give up. Big wins there against Sheffield United and then also against Southampton on the South Coast. So 2 big away day victories there. But we know destiny's still firmly out of our own hands. We'll push, we'll fight, we'll put the pressure on, but we know we're going to rely on some favours. Following game, Man City at home. We know now we need to be basically perfect in our final 9 games to win the title. Not going to be easy when you've got to take on Man City in the following game. We fell behind Erling Haaland, who just cannot stop, and basically no one can stop anyway, who scored the first of 3 goals in our 3-0 loss in the FA Cup last 16, scored the opener, and whilst Dan James found our leveller, well, our winning run is ended after 2 in the Premier League. So, yeah, Spurs, congratulations. I don't think we're going to catch you now. We just slipped up too many times. And it doesn't, it shouldn't really feel like a slip-up. You're taking on Man City at home. A point should be a good result, really. But when you consider what we're chasing, between now and the end of the season, that's what it will feel like. If we fail to win any game, it's a slip-up. It's as simple as that. We're going to be away at the Etihad, away at Anfield, away wherever. It doesn't matter. If we slip up now, it's a slip-up regardless, due to the fact we are several points behind Spurs and you've got the game in hand as well. So, yeah, massive draw there. I don't think we're going to catch Spurs now. Like I said, I'll fight till the end. We'll fight till the end, but it's going to take a big bottle job from Spurs and for us to win every single one of our remaining 8 games in the league. Even so, following game, on the back of the draw, Man City there, now taking on Marseille at the Stade Velodrome. They're 2nd in Ligue 1. PSG are 4th. PSG are 4th in Ligue 1. Don't ask me what's going on there at the Parc des Princes. But heading into the game, Marseille, and they've got a decent team though. You would have seen the lineup for the game. It's a pretty decent team to be fair. They've got Raz Sterling up top as well. It's a pretty decent team to be fair. But I would say ours was better. We went 2 goals up 28 minutes in as well. First Sesko and then Paqueta, who of course dominated the second leg with his 5 goals against Rangers. Raz did get Marseille back in the game. Sterling with the finish, making it 2-1 right before the break. So game not over, despite the fact we were leading by 2. But after Sterling got the goal, I was like, oh, for goodness sake, like, I'm not slipping up again. I know this is a two-legged affair, but I'm not slipping up again. Somerville sends Balerdi the wrong way down the left-hand side. That was a lovely little juke by Crescencio. It rolls it across, and Benjamin says, cheers for that one, mate, and dinks it past Ortega to make it 3-1. And finally, I got the celebration right. You might be wondering why I did the same celebration for the first 2 goals. I was trying to do the Bafétimbi Gomis celebration. I couldn't remember what it was. I knew it was that stick and that button combination, but I couldn't remember which way you flick the right stick, so I did the same celebration twice back, and finally got it right. Bafétimbi Gomis, of course, spent a year out on loan with Marseille during his Swansea days. He's got one of the coolest celebrations in the game. I was trying to remember what it was. Finally, I got it right. A nice little crawl there. Sesko makes it 3-1. And then in the second half, speaking of French forwards, Jorginho Rutter makes it 4-1. But Marseille, knowing it's a two-legged affair, weren't going to give up in the first leg and allow us to run away with a tie. They knew they could still at least try and get back in the tie, even if they don't get back in the game. So they make it 4-2 there. 15 minutes to go. We're trying to close the game out, playing at a low tempo here, and maybe restore our 3-goal cushion. Tyrick down left-hand side rolls it across, and Brendan Aaron says, yep, I'll take it from here. 5-2, so once again, a 3-goal cushion restored. Marseille 2, Leeds 5. But this is just one of those games where, like, the defence from both teams basically just thought we'd have an off day here, because we were getting so many chances going forward. But the defence was just absolutely shocking. Somerville gets a 6th after Ortega parries and Crescencio turns in completely unmarked with no one near him. No wonder Ortega was fuming there. Literally, his defence had just given up at this point, even though he hadn't. It's 6-2. But even here in stoppage time, look at this, there's no one there. There's literally no one there. Shot deflected, and eventually the rebound turned in. The defence in this game, I've got to be honest, probably the worst defence I've seen from me and the AI in a game. It was awful, absolutely awful. But Cucho Hernandez gets the 3rd one for Marseille. I don't know why he's celebrating like that, because we still would have held a 3-goal lead. But even so, that's what I was talking about earlier, situation-specific celebrations. And I'll go into even more detail in a moment. But the 2 goals Marseille scored there, it was a two-legged affair. Don't you think it would be more realistic for them to go and pick the ball up and say, right, come on, lads, back to the halfway line, let's get back in this tie? Instead, Cucho Hernandez thinks he'll just do a little dance or whatever. 6-3. He's 6-3 down at home. I can't imagine the Marseille fans are pretty pleased with that, but even so, we win the tie. But the defence was shocking in that game. Honestly, we should have won that game more comfortably. But then again, Marseille should have not let us get 6. That was awful. Even so, following game, back to winning ways. Now it's Leicester away at the King Power. Need to return to winning ways in the league though. 8 games to go, and I said it. If we are to win the title now, with Spurs still having that game in hand and being several points clear and a better goal record as well, the only way we win the title is by winning all of our 8 games. And I mean it. We can't slip up in any of our remaining 8 fixtures. So Leicester away had to win this one. Took the lead. The Foxes would get back on level terms, but Benjamin Sesko, one of those games earlier I was talking about when certain players just grab the game by the scruff of its neck and take over. Benjamin Sesko said, yep, Lucas, you did it in midweek against Rangers. It's my time here at the King Power. Paqueta rolls him through, 22 minutes to go, 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, New Bell, rounds him and then just chips it into the young guy in there. Benjamin Sesko at times is quite literally unplayable. This was one of those games where he was literally unstoppable. 3-1 Leeds United, points in the bag here. Trying to see out the 2-goal cushion because we know it may well come down to goal difference. Unfortunately, you'll see here, Garnacho. Listen, it's okay dribbling, don't get me wrong, but my defence in these 2 games, really my defence in the whole episode, guys, I'll be honest with you, my defence is really poor. I don't know why, but you know, sometimes I play lockdown defence, sometimes the lock's not even on the door, it's just really, really poor. But even so, won the game by 3-2, Sesko with the hat-trick, and despite the fact we did lose the clean sheet, we do get the 3 points, and that's the most important thing. I said we need to win all 8 of our remaining 8 fixtures in order to have any chance to win the title. 1 down, 7 to go. And even that might be enough, but all we can do is do our best. Still, following game, back to match in the Champions League midweek. Marseille coming to Ellen Road for this one here. We hold that 6-3 lead heading into the second leg. So I did have a couple of starters out there. such as Matt O'Reilly, but for the most part a backup side. I felt we should have enough quality to see us through, and especially going forward, I thought defensively we might ship 1 or 2, but really with that 3-goal advantage, we should score. Marseille's defence is all over the place. We got a goal early through Crescencio Somerville, and then Lewis Cook, 66 minutes in, scores a lovely little solo goal himself to make it 2. That would do it, 22 minutes to go, 8-3 over 2 legs, and in both of these ties against Rangers and Marseille, there were goal gluts in all 4 of the games. Yep, final score 2-0 on the night, 8-3 on aggregate, and we are through to the Champions League semi-finals. And in the semi, out of Real, Man City or Bayern, Leeds will be taking on... There's no news article. And I went to the calendar, and there it is, Bayern Munich. I thought I had to simulate a day, but no, there it is, Bayern Munich in the Champions League semi-final. First they're going to away at the Allianz, and the second at Ellen Road as well. We're into the final 4 of the CL. Now, to be totally honest here, I was targeting a semi-final place this year anyway. Like, I was targeting the semi-final, the final. Why is that here, you ask, Doxy Boy? Because we're a 5-star team now. Like, we're a 5-star team now. So yes, of course, we're not as good as Man City. Yes, of course, we're not as good as Real Madrid. Yes, of course, we're not as good as PSG, although PSG will be knocked out now. But we should be good enough to get to the final 4, I'd say. We should be good enough now. We've got the team. We've got the star quality up top. Lucas Paquetá is unbelievable. Benjamin Sesko's a goal machine. We've got a great back line. The midfield's so solid. We should have enough to get to the final 4. The bare minimum will be last 8. But final 4 is what I was targeting. We're there. If we go out, disappointing. But I won't be too disappointed against Bayern Munich. But I am still hoping we might well, in our first year, be able to go to the grand final. If we could take out Bayern Munich, we will be there. Following game, though, back to matches in the Premier League. Let's keep our attention on the league for now, though, as we head into this one. 3 big games in the league in 7 days to end the episode off. In order to catch Spurs, like I said, we need to be perfect. And this guy is the very definition of perfect. 26 minutes in, we are 3 goals up, and Benjamin Sesko has a brace already. Literally, I know I said this in the last episode, but guys, honestly, like, if you haven't used Benjamin Sesko this year, please, please, please give him a go. He's just a perfect striker. You've seen me score so many goals with his head. Left foot, right foot, powerful, strong, quick, great leaper. I mean, he's just got everything, absolutely everything. He scores a hat-trick in the first half. And I actually took my starters off like 38 minutes in, because we were already up by 4-0. So I took my starters off before half time. I very rarely do that. And then Lewis Cook gets his second goal in 2 off the bench to make it 5. We're firing up at the break. We're absolutely dominating here. My starters are rested because we had Spurs in the battle of the top 2 on the week as well. I needed as much rest time for my starters. I took them off. We were leading by 5. Only question in the second half was, can we hold on to the clean sheet? The answer was no. Raspadori gets one back. And then he goes and does this. Like, when I was talking about situation-specific celebrations. I can't imagine the Geordies that made the trip would have been too willing to celebrate alongside him there. It's 5-1, Mr. Raspadori, in case you haven't noticed. It's over. I mean, honestly, what is that? Like, so it's one of those things where I say to EA, like, honestly, look, we all appreciate realism. We all want more realism. That's not real. That's just stupid. It's just so embarrassing because it totally detracts from the game. It really does. It's like someone doing like a spinning frog celebration in the Champions League to win the game 2-1 or whatever. It's like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, no. Like, what are you doing, Raspador? Why are you grabbing the camera lens, popping it on the Newcastle fans in the away end, and then celebrating with them as if you're the second coming of Jesus Christ? What are you doing? Like, seriously, it's just stupid. Following game, Spurs midweek, 5 games to go. We're 8 points behind. There's now no game in hand. If Spurs would win, the title's theirs. They're 11 clear. If it's a draw, it's basically theirs to lose. But if we would win, we have the outside shot. Final score 1-0. Benjamin Sesko does it again. 27th of the year. There's now 5 games to go. Sorry, I said 5 games when I go 6 games. There's 5 games to go. We've cut it to 5. We're still behind them on goal difference by 5 as well. So it kind of feels like an extra point for Spurs as well. So you could say it kind of feels like a 6-point gap on Spurs, but there's no game in hand now. That's the only thing we've got going for us. The game in hand's gone. It's now a straight shootout. 5 games to go. The gap is 5. They've gotten a better goal difference record as well. But like I said, we're not going to give up. It's still Spurs' to lose. I still expect them to win the title. We put ourselves in a hole after that horrendous run of form of no wins in 5 and 4 defeats on the spin. 1 point from 15. If we just won 2 of those 5 games, we'd be top now. I'm going to rue that form. I know it. I'll rue that poor run of form there. But even so, it's not over yet. It's not over, not over, not over yet. It's not yet, but it almost is. We'll keep the pressure on. We'll keep going, but we know it's Spurs to lose now. Even so, final game of the episode, Wolves away at Wolves at home, here at Eden Road. And we know now we need to win all of our remaining 5 to win the title. I still we need to win all 8. So far, 3 from 3. But here against Wolves, we were leading and now fell behind through Francisco Trincao. We needed a miracle with 20 minutes to go to get ourselves the win from a 2-1 trailing deficit. But in a season full of comebacks, as we're aiming to come back to win the title from what was previously an 8-point deficit, we've cut it to 5, and we had a chance to cut it to 2. Even if Spurs would have a game in hand, if we could come from behind in this game, 2-1 down to win it. Benjamin Sesko said, "Gaffer, it ain't over till it's over." Not for the first time this season, it's Sesko to the rescue. Doesn't work. Sesko to the rescue. As he wins the game with 2 late goals. He and Aronson, the goal scorers in our 3-2 victory, come from behind, not for the first time this season, to win, as we cut the gap on Spurs to 2, as Sesko goes to the golden boot, and Leeds keep their slim double dreams alive. We cut the gap to Spurs on 2. They do have the game in hand, but like I said, it's not over yet, and we are not giving up until it's officially over. Next game, though, Champions League semis against Bayern Munich. We'll see both legs in the next episode. Guys, thank you so much for watching the episode. Really, if you have enjoyed, if you have, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for the next episode of Leeds United Career Mode, where Leeds may not win a treble now, but there's certainly still a double possibility. Have a great day, much love, and I'll see you for the next episode of the Leeds United Career Mode very soon.